Ah,
Hi there, and I welcome to this random video that Randy and I have put together. I have decided to sort of do this video recording because I have a book that is coming out on November 15th, and Randy is a very big part of this book. And I thought because this is such a unique sort of collaboration, I thought it might be fun to sort of do a little video recording so that readers for both of our types of readers can figure out what is this project and sort of how it came to be. So first off, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. This man is so busy that he has a spreadsheet of all of the things that he does. So
it's true. That's a true
it's true.
story.
So I want to thank you for taking the time out. So I guess the first thing that I want to just say is please introduce yourself and sort of like what it is that you do so that people who might not know who you are have a clue.
Sure. Well, my name is Randy Hunt. I am a Mainer through and through, born and raised. Lived most of my life in the Bangor area, but about 6 years ago, moved to Southern Maine. Um, kind of uprooted my theater life that I had begun in Bangor and had to kind of start fresh down in the southern part of the state because nobody knew who I was. And so I am an actor. I've directed a few times. I am a playwright. I am a poet. I am a roller derby official. Uh, I do a lot of different things.
You wear a lot of hats. You
Yeah.
definitely wear a lot, which is why the spreadsheet is needed. I
Yeah.
get it.
Google Calendar. All things Google.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how do we know each other? I think I remember what project we met on, but my memory's not great, and I know yours
Yeah.
isn't either. So we might have the same memory. We'll find out.
So I believe so. Before I moved to Southern Maine, let's see, this would have been s- winter of
You're remembering dates?
2016.
Okay, you're already better
Yeah,
than me. Okay,
yeah.
yep.
So I'm gonna say it was like January, February, March, somewhere in there. Uh,
Sure, that sounds right.
2016.
Okay.
I was doing a show in Belfast. Uh, called Alive the Mind, a Sam Shepard play. And I had to travel 45 or 50 minutes each way in the winter for rehearsals. And that was the last play that I did before I moved. So I was working with Midcoast Actors Studio, and you had a part to play in that production.
Yes, I only produced it. I was not in the actual show. I was producing it. I had never produced a play before, so I had no idea what I was doing. So yeah, so we didn't like work like on stage with each other. You know, I was there, you were on the stage, but that's how
Yeah.
that's how we sort of
I think you took a few publicity photos and stuff like that too. Yeah.
who knows what I
I'm
did.
like, who's
Who
that
knows?
taking pictures of me?
Who knows? It's that crazy lady down there trying to get people to go see a show.
Yeah. So
Um,
and what usually happens after or while you're in a production of a show, you end up sending Facebook friend requests to everybody that you meet
yep.
because it's all part of networking. And
It's all
I'm
one big
sure
family theater.
that's
It's
yeah,
yeah. You just end up knowing everybody. And that sort of knowing who each other is sort of important for how I came to you for this request because it was through Facebook that I saw that you were writing a lot of like 10-minute plays, and you were doing that, and I'd seen a couple of them that you had posted video of, and I had read a few of them, and so I knew that you were a playwright, and I was writing down my outline for the next novel that I had in mind, the nuggets of the ideas that I wanted to capture. And I wanted to write a story about actors rehearsing a play. But then I was like, well, what play are they going to rehearse? I didn't really want to do a classic because for copyright purposes, you can't use anything current or modern. which would have been cool. But I'm like, do I really want to do a classic play? I would really,
Shakespeare.
yeah, exactly. Do I want to do something like that, or do I would really love, what I would really love is to collaborate with a main playwright who might be willing to lend their script as sort of the play that my actors were rehearsing. And I know a few playwrights, but because you were posting so much about it, you were like at the top of my mind of playwrights. And I'm like, you know what? He's just crazy enough that he might agree to let me use one of his plays. And so I emailed you via messenger one day, basically
Hmm.
out of the blue, asking basically that. Would you be willing to write a play for my book? Right?
Well, it was do you have a play that I could use? Something along those
Yeah.
lines. And I responded with, I don't have a full length play, but I have lots of 10-minute plays.
That's
And I
right.
think I sent you probably 10 or 15
You did.
different scripts. And I
Yeah.
think you read
I read them
most or not all
all.
of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read all of them, and I was trying to figure out how can I take these 10 plays and maybe make them into like a showcase, and maybe try to find characters that could overlap. So it would be maybe 5 or 6 actors that were playing all the parts in your showcase. I had like a grid going, trying to
Yeah.
figure out how this might work because I really wanted to be able to use an original play. And then
And then I said, and then you told me all that. And I thought, I don't think that's going to work very well.
it
I'm going to
probably
be
wouldn't
honest. I
have.
don't think that's going to work very
It
well.
probably wouldn't have.
That's not going to be very fluid.
No, no.
And so I don't know how much longer. It might have been the next day or a couple days later. I messaged you back and I said, "Hey, uh, I've never written a full length play, but I've been wanting to do it for a few years and have never had the gumption, if I can use that antiquated
Sure,
word."
yeah.
Uh, and I said, "Well, how about I write a play for you?" And that began what I think was a pretty cool collaboration.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And the idea of you writing a full-length play was like, "Oh, he's gonna like." I've collaborated with people before on projects, and sometimes when people say they'll do something, be like, "Yeah, okay. Okay." And they don't actually do the thing. But like I sort of picked up from you as a person, just in general, that you're the type of person who says, if I'm going to do something, you're going to do something. And so I was like, he's actually going to write this full length
Yeah.
play. He's going to do the thing, and he's going to do it in a timely manner. And I just, yeah, have that sense about you that you do the things right. And so I said, well then, if if you're going to write a play, might I suggest a couple of things? And I think I sent you the outline of what I was thinking about for my story so that you would get a sense of what my story was about, and that might inform your play of like, oh, she needs characters that are roughly this age. And I think I even said that I need them to kiss at some point because that was sort of crucial to the plot, that they were kissing in the script.
Yep.
So that can you write a scene that has was that difficult for you, trying to figure out how do I write a play that I don't know what the subject matter is going to be about, but I have to have these certain restrictions or restraints in it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was definitely a new process for me, having not written a full length play. Writing a 10-minute play is a very different beast.
Sure.
I will sit down and write a 10-minute play, sometimes in half an hour, sometimes in 3 hours, 4 hours, not much longer than that. Usually on the lower end of, maybe an hour or so. And I don't generally go back and make changes. Like, I write it and I'm like, yep, that's pretty good. Or I say, nope, that's not great. And I either just use it or I don't. I do go back and make, grammatical and,
Minor
basic
edits,
edits to it,
right?
but I don't make major changes to the plays. And we're talking about an 8 or 10 page play.
Right.
So there's not a lot of major changes you can make anyway. So diving into a full-length play was a completely different beast, and I'm sure I went about it. I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it, but I don't think I did it the way that most well-respected playwrights write plays. I sat down with a very basic uh, situation that I wanted the characters to be in at the beginning of the play, and I just started writing. I don't do outlines. I don't. It's very different than your process, um, and I didn't know how it was going to end. Uh, and in fact, the ending that I originally had, I ended up cutting the last scene because
Yeah.
everybody said you don't need it,
Yeah.
and with the scene before that. So unlike the short plays, there was a lot of editing that happened in this piece.
Yeah.
So
You went through several drafts of this. I
yeah,
remember you saying you only do one draft. I'm like, he's gonna go through more than one, I think. I think
yeah.
with a longer project, you'll end up going through more than just one.
But even then, I don't think I made like I don't think I've made like major
Right.
like plot changes.
Right.
I just enhanced
Tighten up the
uh
dialogue.
the dialogue and made some of the relationships a little more robust and uh, uh likable.
Right.
I know what the word
Right.
is I'm looking for, but so yeah, I technically in my file name convention, I'm on draft 6.
Yeah. Well,
Uh
same with my version. I landed on a draft 6. So we
yeah.
went through subsequent drafting process together. How hard was it for you? Because I had sort of planted that seed of the romance needing to be there. Was that tricky for you to do? Because to be fair, a lot of the plays that you had written tended to be a bit more comedic in nature, and this one surprised me in that the tone, well, there's obviously some levity to the play. It's a much more serious topic and a much more, serious conversations. How tricky was that to sort of, I guess, shift in tone and to like throw in sort of that romance into something maybe that wouldn't have been there if I hadn't said, please put that in there.
Yeah, it wasn't that difficult. The the basic premise of the beginning of the play is the main character is being released from prison after serving some time for uh, a manslaughter charge that happened after he jumped into his uh, car with a bottle of vodka in his hand and ended up unfortunately taking a life in the process of being out driving late at night and with that drink in his hand. Ended up serving 12 years in prison, I think is the number I landed on. Um, and and so it's kind of the story of him coming back home from prison. His parents are letting him live there for a little bit until he can, get his bearings and get out on his own.
Yeah.
This whole thing happened when he was 20 years old. So he's now 32, 30, yeah, 30,
Yeah.
32-ish. And it's just kind of that story. And of course, because there needed to be romance, I had to figure out where that was going to come from. And so we have the mom and the dad. We have the son who's been in prison. We have his sister. So the romance is not with his
Not
sister, not there, but her best friend. And so it's that budding relationship that happens as he's been far away from women for 12 years, and kind of what that would look like for somebody in his situation.
Yeah.
So it wasn't difficult to come up with the scenario. I think I did it. I think I did it well.
You did.
But I'm a 50-year-old man who's been a lifelong bachelor, so I don't know a lot about romance.
Right. Well, I
But
write romance. That doesn't mean I live it, but I write it. So I think between the two of us, we were able to figure out, how to add the romance into those
Yeah.
characters and make it feel sort of genuine, and what are each of their motivations, because that's something you have to think about in theater a lot, is
Right.
what's the motivation for your character saying what they say, because we're not in their heads like you are in a novel. You can't understand the motivations. You have to have the motivation be in what they say and how they physically move through space. So what they say becomes that much more important in a
Yeah.
script, right?
So, one of the things that I don't have a lot of experience with long romantic relationships. I mean, I've had shorter relationships, um, but I still have the I think I still have the knowledge in my head about what that would look like
Mm.
and be. I write a lot of poetry. Well, I haven't written much in the last couple of years, but I write micro poetry, which needs a little bit of an explanation. Um, I started writing micro poetry on Twitter, which when I started, it was limited to 140 characters,
Oh,
which is not a lot.
no.
You can write a haiku, and, you know,
No,
and a
yeah.
little bit more than that, 140 characters. And then Twitter eventually changed to 280 characters, and then you felt like you had all the space in the world, but you didn't, because it's
Right,
still you
right,
still run into those
right.
situations. But anyway, I wrote a lot of uh, romantic style things, and maybe a lot of lack of romance or wanting romance,
Yeah.
and so that aspect of it, as far as the play is concerned, kind of came easy because of that, I think.
Right. Yeah, and that's something to mention too, is that your poetry is in your play, which is also in my book. So there's like so
So many
many
levels.
layers that it's kind of like, even if it's only you and I that understand all those layers, it's fun. But I think the more people we tell about this, that it's be like, oh yeah, he wrote that, not Danielle, and that's a poem that he wrote that he made his character say. It's very, very cool.
It's crazy. It's
It's very,
crazy.
very crazy. All that said, was there anything that was like hard or tricky about sort of collaborating in this way for you, that was like, you know what, I'm never doing this again? Somebody asked me to write
No.
them a play for their book, I'm gonna say no.
I mean, I think it would all depend on the person, honestly. I had zero reservations about doing this project with you, because I kind of like your instincts with me. I had the same instincts with your skill set and reputation. So I knew that it would be nothing but good on both of our parts, or great on both of our parts. So yeah, so no, I had no reservations at all about it.
Yeah. Well, I think that it was really nice that both of us were like very sort of flexible with each other, and both were willing to be like, this is an important part for my book, or this is an important part for my play, and being able to work around, going, oh, okay, if you really need that element, I will write around that. So it was nice that we were both able to make space for each other's projects so that they could both live and breathe. So I've got like this light romance, but you've got a serious play that they're rehearsing. So I really love that sort of juxtaposition. And I think that the excerpts that I've chosen within there, I think, lift up enough of your play to sort of make people curious about, I want to read this play, right? And so I wonder, is the play, now that it's like done on your end, is it to the point of being produced and put on a stage? Are you putting it out there for that?
I mean, plays are never really done.
Neither are books.
I mean, there's always changes that can be made. And honestly, it's kind of in that stage where, um, if you'll pardon the pun, where if somebody wanted to produce it and stage it, I would probably work with them during the process, get feedback during their rehearsal process, get the feedback after or before the performance is over with, so that I can help go back. It will help me go back and make changes that maybe make more sense to the next group that does it. That said, this is going to see the stage in 2023.
I'm so
That's
excited
kind
for
of
you.
my big announcement. I haven't
For you.
really been able to talk about it. But probably around the time that this gets released, or maybe a little before, there'll be an official announcement coming from the Schoolhouse Arts Center in Standish, Maine, which is my home theater. They are going to put this up on their main stage for one weekend, 4 performances in September of 2023. So a little less than a year from now, I get to see what this looks like on its feet, and I'm beyond ecstatic about it. So not only is it going to be staged, it's going to be staged at my home theater as a world premiere. So
like, how awesome is that, right? Like, how just epic. But it's like the dream come true. Your first ever play, and it's going to be staged.
It's pretty cool. And I have 1 or 2 other groups that have asked about it. And I have said that, yes, I would be happy to let them use it as long as it's after September 2023, so that I can let the world premiere happen with
That's
Schoolhouse.
Important. That's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what's interesting is one of the people that was one of the original readers, my test readers, is one of the people who was interested in trying to find it a way to put it on stage in his neck of the woods. And he's one of the people that really liked that original ending and is really upset that I took it out. He's like, "Hey, if I stage this, can I use the original ending?" I said, "No."
You've let it go.
I've let it go. It's done. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. Like when you've written something and you've sort of like birthed it, if you will, and then you get feedback from, like, for me, for like my beta readers, and it's not the feedback that you thought you were going to get. It's like, oh, do I change the way I had envisioned it because my readers are not picking up what I'm putting down, or do I hold firm? And yeah, I've had to change things before, like in endings of books and stuff too, where I thought, yep, this is the end, and be like, oh no, I guess it's not, or so it's important feedback, and it's hard to learn and it's hard to accept, but at the end of the day, if it makes the project stronger, yeah, do it, right?
And kind of a kind of playing off on a little bit of a somewhat related to that, I have a question for you.
Oh yes, please.
How did the final product that I provided to you differ from whatever your original expectations
I thought
might
you
have
were going
been?
to write a comedy, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a comedic, lighthearted, hear all the jokes, and to see the first few scenes that you've written in in a jail cell and the subject matter. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna see a different side of Randy.
Yeah.
I am here for it. Let's go. So I was very excited to see you sort of stretching beyond what I had seen you do.
Yep.
So that was exciting to me. Going, where is he going with this? What is he doing? Where is this going to be a sudden start series but then becomes slapsticky or something? No, it you kept the momentum going, and you've got some hard hitting topics in here, and I applaud you for being brave enough to sort of step out of a comfort zone and to try something completely different.
Well, the interesting part about that for me is, as an actor, I get cast a lot in comedic roles, and I don't get cast very often in dramatic roles, and not because I'm not good at them. It's just I don't get as many opportunities.
Yeah.
It's either musicals or comedies most of the time in my general neck of the woods. But truth be told, I prefer dramas over comedies, which is kind of interesting if you look at the plays that I've written, because they are 90% comedies. Alive the Mind, which was the play that I did in Belfast, was such an amazing experience for me. It was a great role. It was a great play with a great group, a great director, great producer. Uh, I'm dying to do another drama as an actor. So writing drama was a little more difficult. Comedy is easy to write. Um, Drama's a little
Why do you think
trickier.
that is? That drama is harder? Because I agree with you. It's the harder. It's harder to write that than the light fluffy stuff.
Yeah, because you have to base it somewhat in reality, I
Mm.
guess.
A little more
Um,
honesty, maybe a little more
yeah,
vulnerability.
yeah. And I don't know. I'm just if you knew me, if people knew me in real life, you'd know that I am a slapsticky guy. I mean, it's just I'm always trying to be the life of the room or the party, if you will. And so uh, comedy just comes easy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I just wanted to show the world that your name is on a book cover right down there. How does that feel to
It's
have your
crazy.
name
I
on a
I can't.
book?
I want a copy of it. Gimme.
It's just the proof. You can't have it. This is just the one for me to look through and make sure there are no hiccups or page format issues. But I'll send you a copy when I get mine. I'll send you a copy so you can have it for yourself. And you've created a sort of a cover as well, so that you can have something to sort of show off. Where would people go? Like if somebody was like, you know what, I really want to take a look at this play of yours, or learn more about you, where would they go?
Yeah. So I have a website that I try to add to every once in a while. I do keep certain things up to date, like my acting resume, my writing resume. All the resume related stuff is updated a lot. I don't blog a lot, but I do have a page dedicated to this play, Inside Man, and so there's tons of information out there about that. And the website is randyhunt.info. Pretty easy. Makes sense. And there is an email address there that people can contact me if they have questions about it. If there's a theater out there that might be interested in reading it
So fun.
and
So fun.
producing it. And I also house most of my plays out on a website called the New Play Exchange. NPX is it's lovingly referred to. It is a pay site. If you want to read plays, you pay $10 a year as a reader, which is not very
That's
much
nothing.
money. But you can read thousands of plays for free. If you wanted to produce any of those plays, you'd want to get in contact with the playwright and work out all the fine details of that. But so this play is out on that website. If people want to check it out, you can search for NPX online.
I've put a bug in our local community theaters ear too, so maybe you'll get another nibble, because I think that would be cool. That's awesome. And if anybody wants to read Waiting in the Wings, I don't even get the title of my own book right. Waiting in the Wings. That will be available on the 15th. You can learn more at my website, which is daniellebannister.com. Or find it on any retail platform. It is up for pre-order if you are so inclined, and the paperback will be up close to release day. Amazon's weird with paperback, so I try to time that right, but sometimes they take a long time to turn around when it's actually live, so it's annoying. All right, anything else from you, sir?
Gosh, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I
I
appreciate you so much for
no,
being
I
brave
appreciate
enough to
you.
take this and run with it the way you did. I am so wanting people to read your play, see your play, and just enjoy this creative process that you have pulled out of thin air. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. It's been a wonderful collaboration project with
Maybe we'll
you.
have to work on another project one day where I'm not
Yeah.
making you write a play.
Maybe I write the book and you write the play.
No, I'm not writing any plays. I know my limitations.
I know
I
mine too.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great night, and bye, everyone.
Bye.